It's well known in the industry that I once held Sophia dear. On the day she won the Best Actress award, right in front of everyone, she kissed an actor. Then, she said calmly, "I'm not familiar with director James outside of work. Please don't try to associate me with irrelevant people." "Thank you." I granted her wish and quietly withdrew from her world. Later, with red eyes, she knelt in front of me, begging for my forgiveness. I sneered and said, "Wasn't breaking up what you wanted? Now you've just lost your reputation, but you've got love after all." Main story. If you like it, remember to subscribe. The spotlight shone on the award-giving stage. In the midst of everyone's attention, a woman in a white evening dress walked gracefully forward, wearing a smile that was just right. She said softly, "I've come this far, and I'm deeply grateful for the company of someone." The smile on my face couldn't be hidden. The person on the stage was my girlfriend, Sophia. Over the past 3 years, I had carefully nurtured her from an unknown actress to a well-known movie queen in the entertainment industry. Loving someone is like raising a flower. I provided her with the best nutrients, and her growth until now was undoubtedly my proudest work. The only thing that made me a bit disappointed was that my girlfriend Sophia, citing her career, declined my request to make our relationship public. Hearing her words, I thought to myself, was she going to make our relationship public today? Sophia continued, "He is my mentor and my friend, an indispensable person in my growth. He is David." My smile froze instantly. I watched helplessly as my movie queen girlfriend, holding the trophy, confessed her love affectionately to another actor. Someone asked, "Sophia, it said that you couldn't have come this far without the support of director James. Some people say that you two have a close relationship. Is this true?" With a pure smile on her face, she replied firmly word by word, "I'm not familiar with director James outside of work. Please don't try to associate me with irrelevant people." Thank you. 3 years of meticulous care and companionship were completely denied by Sophia's casual words. My mind went blank. I returned home in a daze, sat alone for a long time, and then fell asleep. The next day when I woke up and turned on my phone, there were so many messages that the phone froze for several seconds. Although Sophia hadn't made our relationship public, I hadn't hidden it from my friends in the industry. Now that this had happened, they all sent me messages of condolence. I rubbed my still red eyes and replied one by one, "Don't worry, I'm fine." I refused my friend's proposal to block Sophia, stating that from then on, I had nothing to do with her. In the future, when we met, we would just follow the rules. After replying to the messages, I splashed some cool tap water on my face and took a deep breath. I've always been able to let go of things. I dared to love and hate. When I fell in love with Sophia back then, I chose to train her despite my friends' objections. Now that this had happened, I accepted it calmly. It was just a stumble. After falling, I could get up, dust myself off, and keep going. I deleted Sophia as a friend on WeChat and blocked all her contact information. From yesterday until now, Sophia hadn't sent me a single message, and of course, I no longer needed it. I had an appointment with my assistant for the audition at the Hollywood studios today. I got myself ready and then went out. The Hollywood studios were bustling. Some people who had heard some rumors cast gossipy glances at me, but I ignored them. Soon I arrived at the film crew. After graduating, I became a director. With my talent and family resources, I quickly became prominent in the industry, a well-known big-name director. Every film I made was a hit. My assistant came up to me, holding his phone. The phone screen showed a push message. Sophia's official social media account posted, "Thank you all for your concern. Even though the 2 TV dramas, Jasmine and New York Storm, are starting filming simultaneously, I will shoot them well with my heart. This is my first collaboration with David since our official announcement. Please support us a lot." At the end of the tweet, she also tagged the official accounts of the 2 crews. The assistant's expression was a bit subtle. Jasmine was the drama Sophia had just taken on, and New York Storm was the drama I was preparing. In fact, for 3 years, the female lead in all my works had been Sophia. Her intention of posting this tweet was obvious. She thought I would let her continue to play the female lead in New York Storm. I shrugged and said to the assistant, "It doesn't matter. Let her post whatever she wants. We just need to choose the right actors and shoot our drama well." Actually, I was very curious. Why did Sophia think that after her statement at the award ceremony yesterday, I would still treat her the same way? Did I look like a big fool who liked to be cheated on? The audition for the female lead of the crew and Sophia's tweet came one after another, quickly attracting a large number of sharp-nosed journalists. When I went out for some air, a journalist's camera was directly pointed at me, and he asked, "Sophia has already made it public that she will play the female lead in New York Storm. Why is the audition of the crew still going on?" Since the female lead has been internally decided, continuing the audition is just a waste of everyone's time, isn't it? This kind of question, which was deliberately trying to stir up conflict, made the actors who were about to audition pause slightly. I stopped, my face darkened, and asked the journalist, "Let me ask you, who am I?" He took an unconscious step back and replied, "That's obvious. You're director James." I then asked, "What place is this?" He realized the problem and hung his head. I sneered, looked at the group of journalists who were eyeing me, and said loudly, "I'm the director, and this is my crew. I make the rules here. How I do things is up to me." I said meaningfully, "If you have nothing to do, you can go home and rest. Don't always try to create a big news." I returned to the crew and swiped my phone. A tweet from David caught my eye, "It's a pleasure to be with the one I love the most. Today, I hope Sophia can spend more time with me, so please don't bother her with some irrelevant people and things." The attached picture was of Sophia smiling, feeding a grape to David's mouth. I was speechless. They really knew how to ride the wave of popularity. Clearly, I was the one being disturbed, but they were pretending to be victims here, creating gossip. It was really disgusting. The continued to heat up. Everyone was eagerly waiting to see who the new female lead of my drama would be. That night, Sophia started a live stream. At first, she interacted happily with her fans. In the middle of the interaction, she slightly furrowed her brows. A netizen asked, "Sophia, aren't you going to play the female lead in New York Storm? Why is the audition of the actors over there still going on?" She slightly bent her eyes and replied with a smile, "The normal process must be completed. James told me." Halfway through, she seemed to react and quickly closed her mouth, looking like she was keeping a secret. Sophia's hesitant attitude made the audience even more excited. They believed that the audition for the female lead of my drama was just a show. But my audition work was not affected. Whenever someone nosy asked, I would close my black leather notebook and reply with a half smile, "Why don't I give you the director's position and you arrange it?" I didn't respond to Sophia, but she mistook this as a kind of acquiescence. Sophia began to show up in public with David frequently. First, they were spotted at the airport, and then they appeared on a food street in the Maldives. In the photos taken by paparazzi, the two were wearing swimsuits, walking on the Golden Beach. The sun shone on their profiles, and they looked at each other and smiled. Fans shouted frantically, calling them an unparalleled couple. In just 2 days, she and David made a lot of money, receiving many endorsements and scripts. My audition lasted for 3 days. At this crucial moment, I chose an unknown girl that no one expected as the actress. On the 3rd day, I looked at the girl with agile eyes under the curtain. The faint natural blush on her face was like the first glow of dawn. I immediately picked up my pen and confirmed the female lead of New York Storm. My assistant, who had been holding back for 3 days, couldn't wait to post a tweet, "Welcome the female lead to the New York Storm family. Work starts tomorrow." The audience who had been waiting rushed forward. After seeing the person tagged in the tweet, they were stunned and started discussing, "It's not Sophia. Who is this? Do you know her? I feel cheated." They immediately flocked to Sophia's tweet, demanding an explanation. Soon, another live stream started. Sophia, with red eyes, sincerely apologized to the camera, "I'm sorry. I let you all down. I'm not good enough. I can understand that James chose someone else. I just hope he won't be angry anymore." David put his arm around her shoulder and patted her gently. After listening to her, he sighed, looking wronged. Everything was left unsaid. One was a movie queen, and the other was a little-known actress who had only been an extra before. With a simple comparison, the audience who thought they knew the truth got angry and cursed. Did our Sophia offend the director? Is there some under-the-table deal? This is so unfair. My assistant, squatting on the chair in the crew, was so angry that his face turned green. He said angrily, "We were busy with the audition before and didn't respond. She was acting like a drama queen, adding all kinds of drama. Now she's even leading the rhythm. She's really shameless." Seeing him roll up his sleeves, looking like he was going to fight, I couldn't help but laugh. The assistant got even angrier and said to me gloomily, "You're still laughing. We should have crushed them 3 days ago." I spread my hands and said with a smile, "This is free traffic. Why refuse it? If we miss it, we'll have to spend money on publicity later." Setting aside other factors, I was actually quite grateful to them for creating such a stir. New York Storm hadn't even started filming, but it was already well known. Everyone with a phone knew about this drama. The assistant replied after hearing this, all right. You're the director after all. Can I retort to them now?" The assistant held the phone in front of me. I nodded. His eyes lit up, but the next second he howled, "Who posted a post before me? Let me see. Goddess is coming. Isn't this Olivia?" As soon as he finished speaking, everyone looked at the girl in the corner. She innocently raised her head, blinked her eyes, and asked, "Do we have a rule that we can't post tweets?" The assistant replied awkwardly, "No." I looked at them with a smile, took out my phone, and opened Twitter. Olivia was the female lead I had chosen. She seemed soft, but her fighting power was not to be underestimated. In just a few minutes, she had posted 18 tweets. "Hello, Sophia. Didn't you say that our director has nothing to do with you? If so, what James are you calling? Who are you? When did the director say he would use you in the new drama? What obligation does he have to choose you? Is the director your father?" Behind each tweet, she tagged Sophia and attached evidence. The fans fell silent immediately and commented with their heads shrunk, "This girl is so fierce. She really slapped her in the face." After a full 10 minutes, Sophia and David remained silent. I was so engrossed that I unconsciously shook my head and complained, "It's so strange. How could I have liked such a person before?" A voice came from the side, "That's nothing. The ancients said that even heroes can't resist beautiful women." Then I realized that Olivia was still there. She continued with a smile, "Although I don't think she's a beauty, maybe the director just lost his mind back then." I twitched the corner of my mouth, looked at Olivia, and said, "I'm your boss." Olivia replied indifferently, "Well, so what?" I waved my hand and said, "If you talk about me like this again, I'll deduct your salary." Olivia stuck out her tongue and said, "You're ruthless." Just as we were talking, an unknown number called my phone. I slightly raised my eyebrows. This was my private number, and not many people knew it. I picked up the phone, and there was silence on the other end. "Did you dial the wrong number? If you don't speak, I'll hang up." The person on the other side got anxious, and a familiar voice came, "James, does it have to be like this?" It was indeed Sophia. "Like what?" She was silent for a moment, and then her voice softened, just like when she was acting coquettish when we were still together. "Can't we be friends even if we can't be together?" I couldn't help laughing. "Be friends? What kind of relationship are we now? What do you mean even if we can't be together? It's as if I'm your stalker, getting angry because I can't catch up with you and seeing you with someone else. Come on, you cheated, you know? Sophia, if you want to enjoy the benefits I gave you after breaking up, just say so. Do you think it's clever to act like you're giving me alms? I can tell you clearly that I'm not making this public and crushing you now, not because I'm magnanimous, but because I want you to die an uglier death. Do you remember that?" Sophia's voice became sharp, and she shouted, "James, I'm telling you, David is the son of the president of Thunder Group. You can't fight against him." Before I could speak, a soft female voice beside me said gently, "Honey, haven't you finished the call yet? I've been waiting for you for a long time." The other side was silent for a moment, and then exploded, "Who's that on your side? James, you betrayed me." I rubbed my ear, feeling speechless, and directly hung up the phone. When she called again, I blocked the number. After doing all this, I looked at Olivia and said, "You acted well. You really have some talent in this regard." Olivia smiled and replied, "Of course." I shook my head helplessly. Just as I was about to get up and leave, I suddenly remembered something. David is the son of the president of Thunder Group? How come I didn't know about this? After thinking for a while, I took out my phone and sent a message, "Dad, when did you have an illegitimate son?" As soon as I returned to the crew, my assistant came up to me again with his phone. His face looked extremely ugly, as if he had swallowed 100 flies. I stopped and asked amusedly, "What did Sophia post again?" He showed me the phone. It read, "Thank you all for your concern. I want to focus more on my work and further improve my acting skills. Please don't pay attention to other information. Look forward to my new works." The attached picture was a sweet photo of her and David. The assistant's face turned green again, and he said, "Sophia has the nerve to talk about acting skills. It's all thanks to your help." He paused and then said, "Fortunately, you finally gave up on her." The filming of New York Storm started smoothly. It was a spy war film. The female lead, played by Olivia, was an ordinary person who was involved in it by mistake. But after learning about the importance of the mission, she resolutely cooperated with the operation. In front of the camera, her eyes were full of layers. The retreat caused by fear was constantly struggling under the influence of good intentions, and this struggle was gradually replaced by anger at the evil deeds, becoming extremely firm. This complex emotional change, which extended from deep inner substitution, deeply touched the hearts of the viewers. I couldn't help sighing again. The acting skills of people really can't be compared. On Sophia's side, she and David frequently posted stills and interactions, attracting a large number of love-struck fans. Fewer and fewer people mentioned the previous incident. Sophia, as always, smiles sweetly. In an interview with a reporter, the reporter asked curiously, "Director James said that his female lead has talent. Do you think you have talent, Sophia?" She tilted her head slightly, seemed a little embarrassed, covered her mouth, and replied, "Well, why not?" Watching the interview, everyone in our team laughed. And Sophia's fans went wild, shouting at Olivia from afar, asking for a showdown with their works. There's always more to say. This time, Olivia only posted 4 words, "As you wish." The filming of the movie took a full 8 months. By the time the release date was set, it was almost a year. During this period, Sophia's fans would occasionally mention the competition between the two movies, generating a lot of heat. And she herself would post stills and behind-the-scenes footage with David from time to time, and the number of her love-struck fans was increasing day by day. Olivia didn't do anything extra. Every time I saw her, she was either studying the script or asking the seniors in the drama for advice. Soon it was time for the movie to be released. Under deliberate arrangements, the 2 movies were released on the same day. A large number of audiences flocked to Jasmine starring Sophia first. Soon, comments came in one after another. Someone was silent for a long time and then asked tentatively, "Is it just me who thinks it's not good?" This comment was quickly echoed, "What the hell is this? The female lead's face is so stiff. I thought it was an AI. She didn't show the charm of a pure white Jasmine at all. How can she be called a movie queen?" Some stubborn fans of the love story in the drama disagreed and defended, "Come on, the scenes between the male and female leads are so sweet. I really love watching them." But soon, this last remaining voice was also silenced by the criticism. New York Storm, the drama that had been written off by everyone since the female lead was chosen, finally made a comeback. When facing the underworld, Olivia, the female lead, blinked with an innocent look. But when she turned to receive the mission, her eyes were full of determination. At the end, when her character sacrificed, her eyes were slightly red, and she said she had no regrets. The tear that didn't fall disappeared forever as she closed her eyes. All the viewers who watched it were thrilled. The media accounts that had been prepared in advance put the performances of the 2 dramas' female leads together and titled it "On the Acting Gap Between a Movie Queen and a Young Actress." Olivia reposted the 4-word tweet from before and responded directly, "Thank you, Senior, for your generosity." These few words sent those who had just started following her into a frenzy. There was no doubt that Sophia was completely defeated in this showdown. Sophia then posted a message, "I don't think I did anything wrong." The next day, rumors spread that David was the young master of the Thunder Group. The parties involved didn't respond directly, but just posted photos of them traveling together and driving luxury cars. In the eyes of onlookers, this was a kind of tacit admission. Sophia's crisis was subtly diverted. The fans of the love story affectionately called David the Little Prince and Sophia the Princess-to-be. These 2 titles made me feel so awkward that I almost dug out a 3-bedroom apartment on the ground. I turned my head and saw that both my most energetic assistant and Olivia had a hint of worry in their eyes. Olivia said, "Is his dad really the president of the Thunder Group? Don't tell me he'll call his dad to step in when he can't win." I couldn't help but laugh and comforted her, "Don't worry. I know the president of the Thunder Group. He has a pretty good temper and won't do such a thing." Just as I finished speaking, the phone rang. I walked to the corner and answered it. A loud, angry voice came from the other end, "Are people blind these days? How do I look like him? You brat, you knew this but didn't tell me earlier. No wonder you asked me if I had an illegitimate son last time. I was really being kind for nothing. If I had known it would come to this, I should have been tougher back then." The voice on the phone was so loud that it made my ears itch. I moved the phone away and rubbed my ears. The person on the other end continued to shout, "No, I'm going to post on Twitter to prove it right now." I quickly stopped him. "Hey, Dad, wait. Don't be in a rush. I have a plan." The old man got even angrier and demanded, "What plan? Can't you see they're about to start scolding you?" I remained silent. The momentum of public opinion was overwhelming. Those people, trying to please the so-called Little Prince, launched a fierce attack on the New York Storm crew. The situation was so intense that even a dog passing by the cruise door would probably get a scolding. I softened my tone a bit and said, "Don't worry, I won't let myself suffer." The old man was still not quite satisfied and said, "I hope so. If you can't handle it, just come home obediently. You could have an easy life, but you have to be a director." He mumbled a few words, seemed extremely annoyed, and then hung up the phone directly. I looked at the phone and the corners of my mouth gradually turned up. On Sophia's side, taking advantage of this momentum, she received several more scripts and endorsements. Some curious people calculated that their schedules for the next year were already fully booked. A strange number sent me a message on my phone, so I told you I made the right choice, didn't I? I could almost see Sophia's smug face through the screen. I replied, the higher you climb, the harder you fall. After sending the message, I blocked the number. It seemed that Sophia was deliberately opposing me. As soon as I announced that my new drama was a workplace-themed one, she immediately said she had also taken on a workplace drama. Olivia held the script in her arms and promised seriously, I won't let you down. Just focus on filming. My hand paused slightly as I was signing something, and then I continued, I chose you because of your ability. Don't think too much. Olivia blinked and said, got it, big director. The girl smiled, waved her fist, and then turned to leave. Olivia did as she said. She became even more serious about filming and still had the enthusiasm to argue with others. She posted a filming behind the scenes clip every day. In the fragmented clips, Olivia was wearing a white furry cloak, sitting on a couch. Her eyes were unfocused, filled with weakness and confusion. When the wind blew, she slightly furrowed her brows, as if countless reluctant thoughts were being tugged at, trying to leave her forever. Olivia's almond-shaped eyes narrowed slightly, and she raised her hand as if trying to catch something. At that moment, her consciousness dissipated as the wind stopped, and her hand slowly dropped after gently pinching at nothing. The online Olivia was completely different from the noble and glamorous image in the behind-the-scenes clips. She didn't hide her intention at all. She directly tagged Sophia and wrote, Senior, you must be working hard on filming today. I look up to you. It seemed like a respectful statement, but in fact, it was sarcastic, yet no one could find fault with it. I couldn't help but laugh. Sophia didn't respond for a long time. Her fans got impatient and started to urge. After several urgings, finally, some behind-the-scenes footage of Sophia's filming was released, but it was actually shot by paparazzi. In the video, Sophia's eyes were wide open, glaring angrily, and she shouted with full force, how could it be you? The caption thoughtfully replied on Sophia's behalf, don't urge Sophia to post behind-the-scenes footage anymore. There's really nothing to post. The video shot need to be refined for 2 days and 2 nights before they can be shown. Everyone who watched it fell silent. They suddenly remembered the fear of being dominated by Sophia's stiff performance in Jasmine some time ago. The fans were all stunned, looking helpless. They compared Olivia's behind-the-scenes clips with their own actress, who was as stiff as an ancient monster. They all shrank their heads and whispered, when others get killed off in the drama, they have an unshed tear, and finally closed their eyes after hesitating. But our female lead, when getting killed off, spits out blood, stares wide-eyed, and howls at the sky, shouting, how could it be you? Stop talking. It's so embarrassing. Under the other party's official social media accounts, netizens questioned their vision in selecting actors. Sophia's official social media account replied, there are always some not-so-good scenes during the filming process. Please don't just focus on the worst things. Right after the announcement was made, someone released a clip of Sophia arguing with the director. Sophia played with her red-painted fingertips and sneered, so what if my expression is stiff? So what if I didn't cry? Can't it be fixed in post-production? If I can do everything well, what do I need them for? I've always filmed like this. Even James could do it. Why can't you? These 2 short sentences contained a lot of information, and netizens were shocked. A netizen commented, what does she mean by always filmed like this? I even praised her acting skills before. Seeing that netizens started to support me, saying that I had endured a lot, I smiled and then told my assistant to start the next step. I didn't want to see this annoying person jumping around in front of me every day anymore. All the original video clips of her past were released by various accounts. For example, in the bathing scene in the lake with high sexual tension, in the unedited original video, her elbows were flailing around, making her look like a marionette. The flexible and fairy-like back in another scene was actually a body double. And when she was on the wire, she was making a big fuss. It was me, the director, who stepped in and taught her how to do it. With the comparison, everyone could clearly see Sophia's true nature and how much I had actually done for her. Everyone knew that Sophia had poor acting skills. Those who had accepted her scripts all changed their minds, saying that they didn't have the ability of director James and couldn't handle such a difficult person. Netizens sensed something was wrong and started to question, Sophia is so bad. Why did director James keep promoting her? With that time, he could have made several more dramas. Could this be love? Remember at the last award ceremony, Sophia personally denied her relationship with director James, and then they went their separate ways. Netizens dug deeper and deeper, and I felt like I was being completely exposed. I sighed, patted my face, and once again cursed myself for misjudging people. Just when I felt extremely embarrassed, Olivia posted a tweet, "Everyone has a past. Let's not dig too deep. Director James said he values the future more." After reading this, netizens seemed to realize something and echoed, "That's right, that's right." They then turned to scold Sophia, "Get lost, you dirty thing. Everyone protect our Director James. Director James has nothing to do with this person." Sophia's reputation was in ruins. She had character flaws and lacked acting skills. Soon, the award-giving committee announced that they would review her awards. Thus, all the honors she had obtained in the past 3 years vanished. At this critical moment, Sophia sent me a message from a new phone number I didn't lose. This is just the entertainment industry. When I become the daughter-in-law of the Thunder Group, I won't need to work at all. I looked at the invitation to the 60th anniversary gala of the Thunder Group in my hand, shook my head, and thought to myself, is that really the case? I don't think so. With no endorsements and scripts, although the company hadn't terminated her contract yet, Sophia was virtually unemployed and almost sidelined. She simply stopped pretending and started acting as an online doting wife, showing off her love with David publicly. She posted 2 tweets in a row, saying, "David is preparing for our wedding. We're about to attend the 60th anniversary gala of the Thunder Group. You've never seen such a scene, have you?" Just at this time, the Thunder Group announced that some media reporters would be allowed to attend this year's gala. In Sophia's opinion, this was David's way of supporting her in building momentum for their wedding. Olivia was in the lounge. I knocked on the door and went in. The moment she saw me, she became excited, and this look reminded me of the proud and aloof cat I often petted in the park before. Olivia smiled at me and said, "Director James, it's rare for you to come by." I smiled, handed her the invitation, and said, "I just need a female companion. Miss Olivia, would you like to come?" Olivia opened the invitation and read it out word by word, her tone rising, "The 60th anniversary gala of the Thunder Group. You're going too?" "Yes, and I'm going to watch a good show." I nodded. Before I could ask again, she put her hand on my outstretched palm. Her eyes couldn't hide her joy, and the corners of her mouth couldn't help but turn up. She pretended to be reserved, raised her chin, and said, "Well, I'll reluctantly agree to be your female companion." The time for the gala soon arrived. The Thunder Group issued a statement that it would announce an important matter at the gala and reveal the identity of the president's son, which had been a hot topic recently. Sophia was certain that this person was David and was extremely proud. On the day of the gala, as soon as Olivia and I got out of the car, we ran into Sophia waiting at the entrance. The moment she saw us, her eyes widened in shock, as if she had been greatly betrayed. Olivia had a faint smile on her lips. She softly put her hand on my arm, leaned her cheek against my shoulder, and blinked at Sophia, saying, "Sophia, why are you stopping me and my boyfriend?" Sophia asked in confusion, "He's your boyfriend?" Olivia nodded matter-of-factly, yes. Sophia's face changed several times. More and more people were looking this way. She glared at us resentfully and said, "How could you do this to me? How can Olivia compare to me?" As she spoke, Sophia grabbed my arm, but I immediately shook it off. With just this action, she actually put on a wronged look. I couldn't help but think that Sophia still had some acting skills. Just then, a slightly sarcastic voice came, "James, what are you doing here?" I turned around and saw it was David. He was walking over with a middle-aged woman on his arm, looking calm. A playful smile appeared on my lips. I stared intently at him and said, "You don't need to worry about that, young master of the Thunder Group." David blinked uncomfortably for a moment, then put on an uncommunicative expression and said, "Laugh all you want. But once you enter this door today, you'll know who the real clown is." As he said this, David calmly stroked his smooth chin, as if he was twirling a non-existent beard. I shook my head helplessly and looked at the woman on the other side. The woman was dressed simply. Her cotton top was a bit faded, and the trouser legs were slightly rolled up, as if they had been washed countless times. Her makeup was light, and the sense of vicissitudes on her face was particularly obvious. Her hair was messy, and her eyes were a bit erratic, yet shining with excitement. Sure enough, it was the person my dad had mentioned. Before I could speak, David put his other arm around Sophia's shoulder and said affectionately, "Sophia, sorry to have kept you waiting. We're a bit late because today is a very important day, so I brought my mom. Meeting like this might be a bit sudden. I hope you don't mind." Sophia immediately leaned against David, acting like a little woman. She looked at the woman and said, "Auntie, nice to meet you. I'm your son's girlfriend. I'm sure he's mentioned me to you." The woman nodded and said, "Girlfriend is good, girlfriend is good." Then she stopped talking and stared straight ahead. The atmosphere at the scene became very awkward. Unexpectedly, David suddenly changed the subject and shouted, "I know you can't let go of Sophia, but stop pestering her all the time. Why did you even chase us here? This isn't a place where you can act recklessly." As soon as he said this, many eyes around were drawn over. Before I could refute, Olivia shouted, "Are you shameless? You can't even keep your own girlfriend in check. You stop us at the gate and openly flirt with my boyfriend in front of me. Are you crazy? There are so many security guards here. Why don't you ask them?" Before David could reply, Olivia casually grabbed the reluctant security guard at the door and joined the argument, saying, "Brother, don't be afraid. Just tell the truth. There are so many people here. They can't do anything to you. No matter how rich the Thunder Group is, they can't bully people in broad daylight. There are surveillance cameras too. If they dare to distort the facts, our big director will back you up and bring them down." I had a black line on my face and scratched my scalp, thinking, this is like me hitting myself. The security guard seemed to be inspired by her eyes. His originally wandering eyes became calm, and he shouted at David, "David, it's really your girlfriend who's been pestering these two." There was a murmur of surprise from the crowd, and people started talking. David was instantly at a loss. I smiled and continued, "David, I advise you. If you're not sure about something, don't speak too confidently. For things you're not certain about, go investigate and verify. Otherwise..." Before I could finish, there was a slap. David's mother, with a furious expression, slapped Sophia across the face and hysterically shouted, "I hate people like you who are fickle and unfaithful in relationships." Sophia's face turned red, and she said, "Auntie, listen to me. It's not what they said." The scene became chaotic for a while. Olivia winked at me and teased, "Well, you guys have a good chat. We'll go in first. Bye." After entering, Olivia was still cheerful. Her invisible little tail seemed to be wagging all the way to the sky. I asked curiously, "Are you that happy?" "Of course." She hummed twice. "I said I wouldn't let you down." So this was what she meant by that sentence. I couldn't help but laugh and tapped her on the head gently, saying, "What are you thinking about all day?" She covered her head a bit unhappily, but soon smiled again. We gradually walked away from the center of the commotion. At this time, Olivia leaned close to my ear and whispered, "Hey, I just said you were my boyfriend. You're not angry, are you?" I looked at her affectionately and said, "No." The gala soon started. I looked over from a distance. Although Sophia looked disheveled with a slap mark on her face, she and David seemed to have calmed David's mother down. At this moment, she looked as if nothing had happened, with a cold expression. They were sitting side by side, with David in the middle. His expression was melancholy yet still holding a glimmer of hope, while Sophia's face was flushed, and she was looking down at her phone. Moments later, I received a text message that read, "James, how could you humiliate and betray me like this? Don't you have a heart? Just you wait. I'll make you pay back 100-fold today." Olivia was standing next to me. She waved her hand in front of my eyes, looking discontented, and said, "I didn't realize the director was so concerned about her." She then asked casually, as if it didn't matter, "Do you want me to call her over so you two can talk?" I stared straight at her until she felt a bit embarrassed and turned her head away. Then I replied with a smile, "No need. I'm just watching a show." Halfway through the event, the host said, "Next, the president of our group, the Thunder Group, will come on stage. He will announce an important matter to us." David's eyes lit up instantly, and he stared intently at the host. He reached out and put his arm around Sophia, his gaze intense, and his body slightly trembling, as if he was both expectant and nervous. A vibrant middle-aged man strode onto the high platform in the center of the venue, took the microphone from the host. He cleared his throat, his eyes bright, and said directly, "Recently, I've noticed that many media are reporting on my son's matter, and the heat of this issue is getting higher and higher. So today, I've invited the key figures in this incident here." He looked down at the audience, eyeing David with a hint of amusement, while David looked back at him with a passionate gaze, completely unaware of anything amiss. The president continued, "I'm sure everyone is very curious about the identity of my son. He is." Under the watchful eyes of everyone, David held his mother's hand. The old man deliberately paused for a while, building up the suspense, and then uttered 3 words, "James." The spotlight suddenly shone on me. The nonchalant look on Olivia's face beside me disappeared instantly, and she stared at me in surprise. Sophia stiffened her neck and slowly turned her head to look in my direction. David's face turned deathly pale, and he looked at his mother in disbelief. The woman's face changed abruptly. She stood up and shouted angrily, "You heartless, ungrateful wretch. You don't even recognize your own son. Even a tiger doesn't eat its cubs. You tell me, are you even human? As she spoke, she was about to rush onto the stage but was stopped by the security guards who had been prepared in advance. She struggled violently and roared, I've raised our son with great difficulty. He's worked so hard for so many years to get your recognition. In your eyes, is he still worthless? The old man nodded to the host, and the big screen behind started playing surveillance videos. In the first surveillance video, a maid was pounding on the master bedroom door in the middle of the night, shouting, Boss, open the door. Don't you love me anymore? Didn't you say you'd marry me? Why did you marry someone else? As she spoke, she tightly grasped a blade and scraped the door frantically. Finally, she was taken away by the police who arrived. The second surveillance video was a compilation of multiple scenes. The maid appeared at the entrance of the villa again and again, only to be driven away by the security guards each time. The third video showed that 2 years later, she appeared again, holding a baby who was only a few months old, laughing maniacally, Boss, this is our son. Don't you recognize him? After the videos were played, the old man explained, it turns out that David's mother suffers from severe delusional disorder. When she was young, she worked as a maid in our house and always fantasized about having an affair with the president of the Thunder Group. This was just a thought in her mind, but on the day I got married, her symptoms suddenly worsened. My father had found doctors for her, but we could never cure her completely. The doctor said that as long as she stayed in our house, her symptoms would only get worse. In fact, her frequency of attacks became higher and higher. After leaving our house, she couldn't distinguish between reality and fantasy at all. She somehow stole a child and fantasized that it was her and the Thunder Group president's illegitimate child. In her eyes, I'm a heartless man who abandoned them. She raised her son with great hardship, hoping that one day he could show how excellent he was. She instilled these ideas in her son since he was a child, so David also firmly believed in them. That's how this farce came about. Finally, the old man also showed the paternity test report, as well as a series of hospital medical records and diagnosis certificates. The crowd began to whisper and looked at David and Sophia strangely. Someone said, I thought David was really the little prince of Thunder Group. Unexpectedly, he was actually a clown. If Sophia can't act anymore, what will she do in the future? Will she start streaming pity on me and buy my things? David's face was deathly pale, his lips trembling, but he couldn't say a word. Sophia looked at me with an expression that was hard to tell whether it was hatred or regret. She just stared straight at me, motionless. I curled my lips, slowly got up, and walked towards the platform. I said, Hello, everyone. Tonight, I'd like to introduce myself with a new identity. I, James, am the biological and only son of the president of the Thunder Group. For those with mental problems, please seek treatment as soon as possible. You three, please leave. As I spoke, I pointed to the door. Do I need to throw you out myself? The few people were thrown out amidst a chorus of gasps. The woman, who had been shouting and struggling, was suddenly slapped by David. She immediately fell silent, and her eyes were filled with tears. The door closed again. Tonight, this was my stage. After the party ended, Olivia went to the restroom and asked me to wait for her at the door. As soon as I walked out of the door, I saw Sophia rush over and kneel down in front of me with a thud. Her eyes were bloodshot, and she looked as if she was grasping at the last straw of hope. James, you still love me, right? Can we get back together? I was wrong. Please, let's go back to the way we were. I really know I was wrong. I'll never do this again. I smiled faintly and said, Wasn't it you who wanted to break up? Now you're just ruined, but you've at least gained the so-called love. Sophia, for the past 3 years, I've been like someone carefully nurturing a flower. I spent every day painstakingly fertilizing, watering, and getting rid of pests for it. It bloomed beautifully, but it took all this for granted, thinking it was all it deserved. It forgot that it was the roots that absorbed the nutrients, and it was me who nourished the roots. Until one day, it was broken off and picked from the stem, and it was complacent, thinking it had finally gotten rid of the ugly roots and could go further. Unfortunately, it forgot that without the roots, how could it survive for long? Sophia, I loathe you to the extreme. But don't get me wrong. I don't hate you for betraying me. It's just that your betrayal was so stupid. Because of your stupidity, I seemed even more stupid. How could I have been so blind to carefully nurture you, this weed? Just then, Olivia came out. She suddenly grabbed my hand tightly and said in a sarcastic tone, Sister, why are you kneeling? Now that you can't be the Thunder Group's daughter-in-law, are you here to find a godfather? I calmly raised my eyes, glanced at Sophia, then turned around and walked away with Olivia. She froze for a moment, then got up unsteadily and tried to chase me. Soon, she was carried away by the security guards. Behind me came Sophia's unwilling roar, "James, look at me." I looked back at her. Just as hope ignited in her eyes, I spat fiercely into the flower bed by the roadside, then walked straight forward without looking back. Later, because the impact of this incident was too bad, the whole internet was scolding David and his adoptive mother. He was completely blacklisted. Under the constant impact of lies and reality, his spirit finally collapsed. Not long after, news spread that he had killed his adoptive mother and then committed suicide. And Sophia also disappeared from the public eye. The most widespread rumor was that she later tried to whitewash herself but was cheated out of all her wealth by a fraud group. Eventually, she ended up on the streets and died of depression. It seems that those who trample on true feelings will eventually be punished by fate. Extra chapter of Olivia's story. If you like it, remember to subscribe. Olivia has known Senior James for a long time. He is a famous genius in the school. Unfortunately, when Olivia enrolled, James Sr. had already started an internship and rarely returned to school. So naturally, she didn't have many opportunities to meet him. Later, Olivia followed James into the entertainment industry, only to find that the James she had been thinking about was already accompanied by a beauty. The girl smiled innocently, and the love in Senior James' eyes when he looked at her was genuine, not fake. Olivia was very sad but still chose to respect Senior's choice. But just when she was about to give up, she realized that the person Senior James held dear didn't deserve his deep affection at all. Sophia was arrogant and didn't want to hone her acting skills. She took advantage of Senior's love and acted recklessly. Olivia was so angry that she gritted her teeth, and at the same time, she felt sorry for Senior James. So, Olivia chose to lie low, worked hard to improve her acting skills, and cherished every opportunity to practice, not caring even if she was just an extra. She believed that someone like Sophia would sooner or later show her flaws and couldn't stay by Senior James' side forever. Olivia secretly cheered herself on in her heart and kept an eye on their every move. As time passed, Olivia's acting skills improved rapidly, and directors started sending her scripts. But she rejected many of them and still chose roles that could both exercise her and keep her close to Senior James and the others. Opportunity came soon. One day, Sophia, holding the Best Actress trophy, publicly confessed her love to David. Olivia looked at Senior James, and her heart ached as if it was about to break. She saw the light in Senior James' eyes disappear instantly, as if he would completely collapse the next second. She bit her lips and couldn't help but blame herself. If she could have told Senior James earlier, would he not be so sad? She sincerely hoped that Senior James could cheer up. Fortunately, Senior James recovered a lot the next day. Olivia finally had the opportunity to stand in front of Senior James openly and said, "Hello, director. I'm the actress Olivia." Olivia was very worried that Senior James would rekindle his old relationship with Sophia, but fortunately, Senior James was firm-willed. Having the opportunity to be with Senior every day, Olivia was extremely happy, so she secretly took extra care of Senior. She bought Senior the first strawberry milk tea in autumn. To avoid Senior noticing anything strange, Olivia bought milk tea for everyone in the crew. Finally, she carefully handed the unique milk tea with extra strawberries to Senior James, smiling and saying, "You should try something new once in a while." In this way, the distance between them gradually narrowed. If anyone insulted Senior James, Olivia couldn't bear it and would immediately retort. If Sophia tried to bully Senior James, that was even more unacceptable. She told herself that she had to work even harder. For this, she even stayed up all night studying the script. When she was chosen as the female lead of the new drama by Senior for the second time, Olivia was so excited that her heart almost jumped out. She said seriously, "I won't let you lose." This sentence contained her little thoughts. She not only didn't want to lose in this confrontation with Sophia but also didn't want Senior James to lose face in front of Sophia. Later, when she heard that David was the president of the Thunder Group, Olivia didn't care. She was determined to stand on the same side as Senior and was not afraid of anything. Unexpectedly, Senior actually showed up in the lounge with an invitation, saying he was going to attend a party. The moment Olivia saw the invitation, she almost jumped for joy. But in front of Senior, she had to be reserved. So she could only hold back, gently put her hand in Senior's palm, slightly raised her chin, and pretended to be calm, saying, "Well, I'll reluctantly agree to be your female companion." She thought that saying this shouldn't let Senior discover her little thoughts. But right after she said it, she thought it might be a bit cold. Would Senior misunderstand? What if he did? All the way, Olivia's mind was in a daze. Being able to be Senior's female companion and attend the party together was something she had never even dared to dream of. As soon as they got out of the car, they met the annoying Sophia. Olivia became alert instantly. Seeing that Senior didn't react much, she summoned up her courage, put her arm around Senior's, and said in a deliberately sweet voice, "Senior, why are you stopping me and my boyfriend?" Looking at Sophia's livid face, Olivia found it extremely interesting. She thought to herself, look at that ugly thing. Her face is green. It's so funny. She nodded matter-of-factly and continued, "Yeah, that ugly thing must be furious. The best person is already by my side. He's the light I've been longing for 6 years. I don't care about others." Senior asked her, "Are you that happy?" She replied without hesitation, "Of course. I said I wouldn't let you lose." At such a sentimental moment, Senior actually tapped her on the head. Olivia was angry for a moment, but then she thought, this is Senior after all. Forget it, I'll forgive him. Then she asked, "I just said you were my boyfriend. You're not angry, are you?" Senior replied, "No." Olivia immediately thought that Senior was really nice. She thought to herself, "I love Senior forever." She thought she already knew Senior well enough, but unexpectedly, Senior was hiding his true identity. He was actually the son of the president of the Thunder Group. This had kept her in the dark for so long, and she had worried for a long time. Olivia pretended to be angry for 3 seconds. Then, when she saw Senior shining under the spotlight, she couldn't help but be attracted again. She told herself, forget it. Olivia is a forgiving girl. I won't argue with little Senior. She stared at Senior with stars in her eyes, without blinking. After the party ended, many reporters surrounded Senior, just like they had surrounded Sophia a year ago. Someone asked Senior about his relationship with Sophia. Senior smiled slightly and replied politely, "Please don't try to associate me with irrelevant people. Thank you. This is very troublesome for me." After answering, Senior turned to look at her and asked, "Why aren't you leaving?" Olivia's lips curled up slightly, and she secretly delighted in her heart, this is great. Her story with Senior seemed to come to an end here, but perhaps the wonderful part of her own life was just beginning. After leaving the venue, Olivia still held James' hand, and James didn't say anything. Under the illumination of the streetlights, they walked side by side, slowly walking towards the distance, as if there were endless beauty waiting for them ahead.